Shri Namaha, and welcome to the Sri Vidya Temple's online classes in chanting. We are currently working on the Tantrokta Ratrisuktam, which is the first Devi stuti found in Sri Durga Sapthashloki. So we've already completed one class and we'll be continuing that. And after we finish, I'll chant one time as a final review and practice. And then I think we should have time to also do Durga Saptashloki as well, which is just 7 shlokas that are like the main essence. So out of the 700 mantras of Durga Saptashloki, there are 7 mantras or 7 shlokas which are considered as very, very essential and nuclear shlokas. And so that's been made into a very, very short and sweet stotram. Okay, but we'll start from, so if you're looking in a document of Saptashloki, it's chapter 1. And we'll be starting from I believe it's the 82nd shloka. I believe we finished up until the 81st, or Saumya Saumyatara Shesha Saumyebhyastati Sundari, that shloka we finished. So first we'll do the Ganapati prayer, and then we'll start from 82. And Anupama Amma, if you can start out the repeating of the lines. So first I'll do the Ganapati prayer. Om Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnan Chaturbhujam Prasanna Dhyanayet Sarva Viknopashantaye. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Okay, so starting from number 82. Yaccha kinchit kvachit vastu.
Yaccha kinchit kvachidvastu. Yaccha kinchit kvachidvastu.
Sadasadvatkilatmike.
Sadasadvakilatmike. Sadasadvakilatmike.
Yaccha kinchit kvachit vastu sadasadvakilatmike.
Yaccha kinchit kvachidvastu sadasadvakilatmike. Yaccha kinchit kvachidvastu sadasadvakilatmike.
Very good. Tasya sarvasya ya shaktis.
Tasya sarvasya ya shaktis. Tasya sarvasya ya shaktis.
Satvam kim stuyase maya.
Satvam kim stuyase maya. Satvam kim stuyase maya.
Tasya sarvasya ya shaktis satvam kim stuyase maya.
Tasya sarvasya ya shaktis satvam kim stuyase maya. Tasya sarvasya ya shaktis satvam kim stuyase maya.
Good. Yaya tvaya jagat srashta.
Yaya tvaya jagat srashta. Yaya tvaya jagat srashta.
Jagat patyattiyo jagat.
Jagat patyattiyo jagat. Jagat patyattiyo jagat.
Yaya tvaya jagat srashta jagat patyattiyo jagat.
Yaya tvaya jagat srashta jagat पात्यत्ति यो जगत् यया त्वया जगत् सृष्टा जगत् पात्यत्ति यो जगत्
Good. सोऽपि निद्रावशं नीतः
सोऽपि निद्रावशं नीतः सोऽपि निद्रावशं नीतः
कस्त्वां स्तोतुमिहेश्वरः
कस्त्वां स्तोतुमिहेश्वरः कस्त्वां स्तोतुमिहेश्वरः
सोऽपि निद्रावशं नीतः कस्त्वां स्तोतुमिहेश्वरः
सोऽपि निद्रावशं नीतः कस्त्वां स्तोतुमिहेश्वरः सोऽपि निद्रावशं नीतः कस्त्वां स्तोतुमिहेश्वरः
Good. विष्णुः शरीरग्रहण
विष्णुः विष्णुः शरीरग्रहण विष्णुः शरीरग्रहण
Good. Here, notice the holding on ig in shariragrahana. Shariragrahana. So this line I always found a little bit tricky until I practiced it repeatedly to get the particular flow with holding and everything. So we always want to make sure we start out the line with good holding, otherwise we'll stumble and then the rest of the line goes kaput. Okay, so let's just do that one more time. Vishnu Shariragrahana.
विष्णुः शरीरग्रहण विष्णुः शरीरग्रहण
Good. Mahamishana eva cha.
महमीशान महमीशान एव च महमीशान एव च
Good. So when I do the full line, you'll see that in the middle, we have a series of hrasva vowels all in a row. Graharna maha. Graharna maha. So that's where it gets a little bit tricky. So just listen to the rhythm. Vishnu Sharira Grahana Mahamishana Eva cha.
विष्णुः शरीरग्रहण महमीशान एव च विष्णुः शरीरग्रहण महमीशान एव च
Good. Just try not to have any gap in the middle of the line, since it's our typical chanting style at the temple, and also if you listen to Chalakere brothers, not to have any pause or gap in the middle of a line that's in Anushtup Chandas. Sometimes in other verses that are in, say, a longer chandas, there's very frequently a slight pause in the middle of a line, because those lines are so long that it's really almost impossible to complete the full line in one breath. But for Anushtup Chandas, which is what this is in, we try always to chant the full line in a single unbroken stream with no gap or pause in the middle of the line. Okay, so I'll do it one more time. Vishnu Sharira Grahana Mahamishana Eva cha.
विष्णुः शरीरग्रहण महमीशान एव च विष्णुः शरीरग्रहण महमीशान एव च
Good. Karitaste yatotastvam.
कारितास्ते यतोतस्त्वाम् कारितास्ते यतोतस्त्वाम्
कस्तोतुं शक्तिमान् भवेत्
कस्तोतुं शक्तिमान् भवेत् कस्तोतुं शक्तिमान् भवेत्
कारितास्ते यतो तस्त्वां कस्तोतुं शक्तिमान् भवेत्
कारितास्ते यतोतस्त्वां कस्तोतुं शक्तिमान् भवेत् कारितास्ते यतोतस्त्वां कस्तोतुं शक्तिमान् भवेत्
Good. Okay, thank you for repeating. So, Charu Aunty, if you can repeat the lines.
Sure.
Sorry, let me start over. Sattvamittham prabhavai svai.
सात्वमित्थं प्रभावै स्वै सात्वमित्थं प्रभावै स्वै
रुदारैर्देवि संस्तुता
रुदारैर्देवि संस्तुता रुदारैर्देवि संस्तुता
Good. Sattvamittham prabhavai svairudaraiर्देवि संस्तुता
सात्वमित्थं प्रभावै स्वैरुदारैर्देवि संस्तुता सात्वमित्थं प्रभावै स्वैरुदारैर्देवि संस्तुता
Good. मोहयैतौ दुराधर्ष
मोहयैतो दुरार्दर्श मोहयैतो दुरार्दर्श
वसुरौ मधुकैटभौ
वसुरौ मधुकैटभौ वसुरौ मधुकैटभौ
मोहयैतौ दुराधर्ष वसुरौ मधुकैटभौ
मोहयैतौ दुराधर्ष वसुरैर्मधुकैटभौ मोहयैतो दुरादर्श मसुरौ मधुकैटभौ.
Good. Just notice the Mahaprana in Duradharsha, just a little more, a slight little more emphasis there. Duradharsha. Okay, let's do the next line. Prabodham cha jagat swami.
प्रबोधं च जगत्स्वामी प्रबोधं च जगत्स्वामी.
Good. Niyatamachyuto laghu.
नियतामच्युतो लघु नियतामच्युतो लघु
प्रबोधं च जगत्स्वामी नियतामच्युतो लघु
प्रबोधं च जगत्स्वामी नियतामच्युतो लघु प्रबोधं च जगत्स्वामी नियतामच्युतो लघु.
Good. बोधश्च क्रियतामस्य
बोधच्च क्रियतामस्य बोधच्च क्रियतामस्य.
Good. If we just take a look at the first couple of words, we have bodhascha. Bodhascha. I didn't quite hear the ash in
Bodhascha.
bodhascha. Okay.
Bodhascha.
And then we want to make sure we have holding on the ik, bodhaschakriya, chakriya, okay? Bodhaschakriya. Okay, I'll do the second half. Hantu me tau mahasuro.
Hantu me tau mahasuro. Hantu me tau mahasuro.
Bodhaschakriya hantu me tau mahasuro.
Bodhaschakriya hantu me tau mahasuro. Bodhaschakriya hantu me tau mahasuro.
Good. Okay, so that's the end of the Brahma Stuti. And in this final shloka, this is the prayer from Lord Brahma asking that Lord Vishnu be awakened, that Nidra Devi withdraw from his sleeping form so that he can awaken and do battle with these two demons, Madhu and Kaitabha. So it's interesting that this idea that so he has to wake up. And normally the moha that is on, that we want to be removed from ourselves, that moha needs to be put on the demons, Madhu and Kaitapha, so that they can actually be defeated. So this story has some interesting little twists in it and some interesting interpretations. I'll try to post some links of things that I found interesting, because a lot of the time these stories can be seen as very symbolic, very metaphorical, and it has a lot to do with our inner battle, the battle of the inner demons with the inner divine forces, and how Devi comes to our rescue and what role she plays in helping us on the path of sadhana, and as we go through the world and travel on our spiritual journey. And so one of the interesting things that I came across was this idea that so two different ideas. One is that Madhu and Kaitabha represent tamas and rajas. So the two gunas, tamoguna and rajoguna. Whereas Lord Brahma represents the sattva guna. So the problem is that Madhu and Kaitabha are attacking Lord Brahma. So you can see clearly this idea of, these other qualities of tamoguna and rajoguna, when they take over, when they start attacking the sattva-guna, then the sattva-guna is not able to operate in our lives and our minds. So this is an interesting thing to think about. And then another interpretation that I was reading, if you look at the meaning of the names Madhu and Kaitabha, Madhu means sweet or honey, and Kaitabha is derived from Kita, which means like a small insect. So you can think of this as honey and the honeybee. So the honeybee obviously, creates honey, but one idea is that if you are searching for honey, you're going to encounter the honeybee, and the honeybee is going to sting you. So this is like worldly pleasures versus worldly pain. If we are constantly searching in the world only for worldly happiness and worldly pleasures, then we're definitely going to get stung by the honeybee and experience, a certain kind of worldly suffering. Maybe not right away, but at some point, definitely we'll experience that. So this has to do with how we focus exclusively on, these worldly aspects, and we're constantly being bounced back and forth from, just seeking out happiness and then suffering, and then We seek out more happiness and we expect that from the world, but then we end up with some kind of suffering, which is, what we exactly don't want. So this is another interesting way of thinking about this story. Okay, so maybe what I'll do now is I'll go back to the beginning of where we started with number 71, and I'll chant the full stuti as a final practice. Vishveshwarim jagadhatrim sthitisamharakaриणीं Nitram bhagavatim Vishnuratulam tejasaf prabhuhu brahmovacha Tvam swaha tvam swadha tvam hi vashatkarasvaratmika Sudha tvamakshare nitye tridhamatra sthita ardhamatra sthita nitya yanucharya visheshataha Tvameva sandhya savitri tvam devi janani para Tvayaitat-dharyate vishvam Tvayaitat-srujyate jagat Tvayaitat-palyate devit Tvamatsyante cha sarvada Visrishtau srishtirupa Tvam sthitirupa cha palane Tatha samhritirupante jagatosya jaganmaye Mahavidya Mahamaya Mahamedha Mahasmritihi Mahamoha cha bhavati Mahadevi Maheshwari Prakrutistvam cha sarvasya gunatraya vibhavini Kalatrir maharatrir moharatrischa daruna Tvam Shri-stvam-ishvari, Tvam Hri-stvam buddhir-bodha-lakshana, Lajja-pushtis-tatha tushtis-tvam shanti-kshantireva cha, Khatkini, Shulini, Ghora, Gadini, Chakrini tatha, Shankhini chapini bhanabhushundi parighayudha Saumya saumyatara shesha saumyebhyastvati sundari Paraparanam paramattvameva parameshwari Yaccha kinchit Kvachit vastu sadasattvakhilatmike tasya sarvasya ya shaktis sattvam kim stuyase maya yaya tvaya jagat srashta jagat patyattiyo jagat sopi nitravasham nitah Kastvam stotumiheshwaraha Vishnu-sharira-grahana-mahamishana evacha Karitaste yato tastvam kastotum shaktiman bhavet Satvamitham prabhavai svairudarairdevi samstuta Mohayaitou duradharsha vasurau madhukaitabhau प्रबोधं च जगत्स्वामी नीयतामच्युतो लघु बोधश्च क्रियतामस्य हन्तुमेतौ महासुरौ ॐ श्रीजगदम्बार्पणमस्तु. Okay. So does anybody have any questions about the Brahma Stuti or Tantrokta Ratrisuktam? This is a
Victor, I have
Yes,
a quick question.
sure.
At the end of line 11, tada, in our maybe handout, when you recited was Maya. Is that like a translational variation?
Which line was that?
Sorry, I'll pull it up.
It says 11 in the Durga, what do you call no, Devi's, whatever we're studying, the Tantrokta Ratrisuktam. I also have it like that only. It says tada instead
Just
of Maya.
can you just give me the first word of the line?
Okay.
For sure.
Tasya
Tasya
sarvasya ya
sarvasya.
shakti satvam kinstuyate tadha. Because this I have
Oh.
separately, maybe somebody has wrote it 83. No, it should be more than that.
Tasya sarvasya ya shaktis satvam kim stuyase maya.
Maya, you said we have in the book tada. I know that's what he's trying to tell me. Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
tata instead of maya.
Mm.
Yeah, so the handout that I had put is based on Gita Press, which is a slightly different version than what I'm reading from the GRD Gurukul book, which is based on Guptavati, which is the commentary written by Sri Bhaskararaya. So there are some slight differences between the Gita Press version and the Guptavati. I provided Gita Press version because that's all I had as a PDF. So unfortunately, we do have those slight small differences. But the way that I chanted it is based on Guptavati, which is in the Gurukul book. And that's how we chant it in the temple. So if you don't have a physical Sapthashloki book from the Gurukul, the GRD Iyer's Gurukul, I believe they'll be making an ebook available on Amazon soon in the near future. And I highly recommend that those who are very interested in Saptashloki can get that ebook so that you'll have the Guptavati version, which is used by all of the very traditional and authentic mathas, especially across South India. So that's what, say you go to like a Chandi Homa or Chandi Parayanam, anywhere in a traditional matam or temple, they'll be chanting the version as Guptavati. So definitely I recommend trying to get that version, which is very hard to get outside of the GRD Gurukul publication. So that's the thing. A lot of these more unusual, or I don't want to say unusual, but you could say advanced scriptures or texts, it's difficult to find them in various scripts, especially English transliteration. English is the hardest to find something with good, proper transliteration. And other scripts are also difficult, like Malayalam or Kannada, maybe tricky as well, or Tamil especially. So the benefit of the Gurukul books is that they have so many different scripts, and they're basing everything on very, very authentic sources. So I definitely recommend that. So just, yeah, it's a slight variation. There's something else that I was reading about online where instead of Mahadevi Maheshwari, in some versions it says Mahadevi Mahasuri. So like the great demoness. So that's, I mean, who knows how the different versions come to be. Could be an error that has crept in. Who knows how it happens. But the benefit of Guptavati is that Sri Bhaskararaya made that attempt to preserve all the lines in a very correct and accurate manner. So that's all I know about that. Okay, so any other questions about what we have learned? Okay, looks like everyone is all good. We have a good 30 minutes, so we should be able to get through Sapthashloki. And one other small thing I'll just mention here is that if anyone is not totally familiar with any of the terms that I'm using in the chanting classes, like Hrasva, Dirgha, holding, Mahaprana, Visarga, and things like that. We are planning to have a sort of refresher course or refresher sessions on the basics of chanting. And so what we'll do, that'll be coming up soon, I hope. We'll go through all of those terms. We'll go through the Sanskrit Aksharamala, or all the Sanskrit sounds. We'll go through how to understand basically what is matra, shuddhi, and we should have time to also do a little bit of focus or practice with swaras, and that will be something where people who may be beginners or maybe a little bit familiar, but not totally familiar, can have a chance to get any feedback or something like that. And hopefully we'll feel totally comfortable to speak up and ask any questions that they might have. Okay, so we'll do that soon. Okay, but what we'll do now is we'll switch over to the Saptashloki, which I have. Let me get set up with that. Okay, it's not letting me view that on my screen. So I'll view it on my phone. Okay, so let me just see the chat. Okay. All right, so if anyone is interested in repeating the lines, you can let us know. Let's see, I think there was Nileshwari Amma. So is Nileshwari Amma on the
Namaste,
line?
Ektaji. Yes, I am there on that.
Namaste, Ma. Would you like to repeat the lines for Saptashloki?
Sure. I don't
Okay.
have the text, but I can just maybe, yeah, let me just pull it up. Sorry.
Sure, if you don't mind, if that's okay, we can do that.
Okay. Actually, sorry, can I do it next class if you don't mind?
No problem, no
Yeah.
problem.
Sorry.
Okay.
Screen, Amma, I can share the screen. You said you're not able to pull it up. Do you want me to share the screen?
Sure, yeah, that'll be good.
You want to recite the whole thing once, Ekta, the Saptashloki, instead of repeating it? Because
Sure.
that will be
I'll do
easy.
that. Okay, I'll recite it once.
Go whole thing.
Sure. So as I was saying earlier in the class, while we're waiting for Nandini Amma to put that on the screen, Saptashloki is 7 shlokas or 7 mantras taken out of the 700 mantras of Saptashati. And it's often considered as like the essence. And very recently, the Shankaracharya of the Sringeri Matam was recommending that all people can recite this Saptashloki to receive the grace of Divine Mother. So he was strongly recommending that. So this is very, very good to chant on a daily basis, and it's very short. It's, also has a number of shlokas that are very commonly known, so it's not too unfamiliar. So definitely it's something that is really wonderful to chant on a regular basis. So that's why I thought we would go through it. Okay, so Anupama Amma, if you can repeat the lines.
Yes, Amma. Yes, Amma.
Okay. Asya Shri Durga. Oh, sorry, I was supposed to chant the whole thing. So I'll do that first. Asya Shri Durga Sapthashloki Stotra Mahamantrasya Narayana Rashihi Anushtupadini Chandamsi Shri Mahakali Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswatyo Devataha Shri Jagadamba Prityarthe Parthe Viniyogaha ज्ञानिनामपि चेतांसि देवी भगवती हि सा बलादाकृष्य मोहाय महामाया प्रयच्छति दुर्गे स्मृता हरसि भीतिमशेषजन्तो स्वस्थैः स्मृता मतिमतीवशु भां ददासि दारिद्र्यदुःखभयहारिणि का त्वदन्या सर्वोपकारकरणाय सदार्द्रचित्ता सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरि नारायणि नमोऽस्तु ते शरणागतदीनार्तपरित्राणपरायणे सर्वस्यार्तिहरे देवि नारायणि नमोऽस्तु ते सर्वस्वरूपे सर्वेशे सर्वशक्तिसमन्विते भयेभ्यस्त्राहि नो देवि दुर्गे देवि नमोऽस्तु ते रोगानशेषानपहंसि तुष्टारुष्टातु कामान् सकलानभीष्टान् त्वामाश्रितानां न विपन्नराणां त्वामाश्रिता ह्याश्रयतां प्रयान्ति सर्वाबाधा प्रशमनं त्रैलोक्यस्याखिलेश्वरी एवमेव त्वया कार्यमस्मद्वैरिविनाशनम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Okay, so you can see it's very short and sweet. And it just has two different types of chandas. So one is Anushtup, which we're very familiar with, so that's easy. And the other one is the same chandas that's used in chapter 4 in the Shakradaya Stuti. And a few of them in Narayani Stuti as well. So that should also be pretty familiar. Okay, so we'll start with the first line. ॐ अस्य श्री दुर्गा सप्तश्लोकी
ॐ अस्य श्री दुर्गा सप्तश्लोकी ॐ अस्य श्री दुर्गा सप्तश्लोकी
स्तोत्रमहामन्त्रस्य
स्तोत्रमहामन्त्रस्य
ॐ अस्य श्री दुर्गा सप्तश्लोकी स्तोत्रमहामन्त्रस्य
ॐ अस्य श्री दुर्गा saptashloki स्तोत्रमहामन्त्रस्य ॐ अस्य श्री दुर्गा सप्तश्लोकी स्तोत्र महामन्त्रस्य
नारायण ऋषिः
नारायण ऋषिः
अनुष्टुपादीनि छन्दांसि
अनुष्टुप्पादीनि छन्दांसि
Good. Just keep in mind we don't have any holding on the ip. So
Oh.
it's just anushtupadini. Anushtupadini. I'm not quite sure of the words here, but it looks like anushtup plus adini, something like that. So anushtupadini. And to be honest, I don't, not everybody chants this little introduction or Vinyoga, but I just included it for the sake of completeness.
Yes.
Okay, so we can do the next line. Shri Mahakali Mahalakshmi Mahasarasvatyo Devataha.
श्री महाकाली महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वत्यो देवताः श्री महाकाली महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वत्यो देवताः
Shri Jagadamba Prityarthe Pathe Vinyogaha.
श्री जगदम्बा प्रीत्यर्थे पाठे विनियोगः श्री जगदम्बा प्रीत्यर्थे पाठे विनियोगः
Good. So you'll see that the Devata is mentioned as Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, and Mahasaraswati all together. And these different shlokas have been taken from a number of different chapters in Saptashloki. So all three, they come from all three sections. So the first one comes from chapter 1, Madhyama Charitra. I'm sorry, Pratama Charitra. Then the second comes from the 4th chapter, which is Madhyama Charitra. And then the remainder all come from like 3 from Narayani Stuti. And then Rogana Sheshana Pamsi Tushta, I forget where that comes from. And then the final one, I think, is like chapter 12 or 13. So this is also the final charitra or the final section. So all three sections and all three devis of those sections are represented in this Sapthashloki. Okay, so we'll start with the first shloka. Jnaninaamapi chetamsi.
ज्ञानिनामपि चेतांसि
Devi Bhagavati hi sa.
देवी भगवती हि सा
Jnaninaamapi chetamsi Devi Bhagavati hi sa.
ज्ञानिनामपि चेतांसि देवी भगवती हि सा ज्ञानिनामपि चेतांसि देवी भगवती हि सा
Good. Baladakrushya mohaya.
बलादाकृष्य मोहाय
Mahamaya prayachati.
महामाया प्रयच्छति
Baladakrushya mohaya Mahamaya prayachati.
बलादाकृष्य मोहाय महामाया प्रयच्छति बलादाकृष्य मोहाय महामाया प्रयच्छति.
Good. Okay. Now we'll go on to the second one. And this, if you're familiar with the Sambuddha Sri Suktam, which we sometimes have done at the temple, you'll recognize this shloka, which occurs in that as well. Durge smruta harasi bhiti.
दुर्गे स्मृता हरसि भीति. दुर्गे स्मृता हरसि भीति.
Mashesha jantos.
मशेष जन्तोस्. मशेष जन्तोस्.
Durge smruta harasi bhiti mashesha jantos.
दुर्गे स्मृता हरसि भीतिमशेष जन्तोस्. दुर्गे स्मृता हरसि भीतिमशेष जन्तोस्.
Swasthai smruta matimativa.
स्वस्थैः स्मृता मतिमतीव. स्वस्थैः स्मृता मतिमतीव.
Shubhan dadasi.
शुभान् ददासि. शुभान् ददासि.
Swasthai smruta matimativa shubham dadasi.
स्वस्थैः स्मृता मतिमतीव शुभान् ददासि. स्वस्थैः स्मृता मतिमतीव शुभान् ददासि.
Good. Let's try the full line. Durge smruta harasi bhitimashesha jantos swasthai smruta matimativa shubham dadasi.
दुर्गे स्मृता हरसि भीतिमशेष जन्तोस्. स्वस्थैः स्मृता मतिमतीव शुभान् ददासि. दुर्गे स्मृता हरसि भीतिमशेष जन्तोस्. स्वस्थैः स्मृता मतिमतीव शुभान् ददासि.
Good. Daritya dukkha bhayaharini.
दारिद्र्य दुःख भयहारिणि. दारिद्र्य दुःख भयहारिणि.
So here, it sounded a little bit like the first word was coming out with a mahaprana, but just notice that it's just da, regular da, not dha. And then also we have a mahaprana ka in the word dukkha or dukkha. So daridriya dukkha, daridriya dukkha, and then bhaya in bhaya harini. Okay, so just watch out for those mahapranas there. Now I'll go on. Katvadanya.
कात्वदन्या. कात्वदन्या.
Daritya dukkha bhaya harini katvadanya.
दारिद्र्य दुःख भयहारिणि कात्वदन्या. दारिद्र्य दुःख भयहारिणि कात्वदन्या.
Good. Sarvopakaranaya.
सर्वोपकारणकारणाय. सर्वोपकारकारणाय.
Good. So the first time there was a little mistake that came in, so let's just take a look at the word sarvopakara. So first we have kara, sarva upakara, and then we have a regular ka, karanaya. So kara karanaya, kara karanaya. Okay. Sorry. Sadardrachitta.
Sadardrachitta. Sadardrachitta.
Good. Sarvopakaranaya sadardrachitta.
सर्वोपकारकरणाय सदार्द्रचित्ता सर्वोपकारकारणाय सदार्द्रचित्ता. Oh, wait.
Good. Almost there. Almost there. Okay, so yeah, if you just take a look at it in the Devanagari, it might be a little easier for you to
Yeah, sorry, because I have to read
yeah,
it.
I know it's hard when you're looking at English if you're not used to looking at that. Okay. All right, so now we'll try the full line. Daritya dukha bhaya harini ka त्वदन्या सर्वोपकार करणाय सदार्त्रचित्ता.
हारित्र्यदुःखभयहारिणी का त्वदन्या सर्वोपकारकरणाय सदार्द्रचित्ता दारिद्र्यदुःखभयहारिणी का त्वदन्या सर्वोपकारकरणाय सदार्द्रचित्ता.
Good. And anyone who is not familiar with this particular melody, it's no problem to just, chant it in any simple way that's easy for you. This happens to be the melody that we learned for this, and so that's how we chant in the temple during programs. But again, if it's tricky, it's no problem. You don't have to use that melody at all. Okay, so let's do the next one. Should be very familiar. Sarvamangalamaangalye.
Sarvamangalamaangalye. Sarvamangalamaangalye.
Good. Shive sarvarthasadhike.
Shive sarvarthasadhike. Shive sarvarthasadhike.
Sarvamangalamaangalye shive sarvarthasadhike.
सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके.
Good. And anytime we're doing a familiar shloka, on the one hand, it feels easy because we've heard it so many times, but on the other hand, it's very common to have errors creep in because we've heard it so many times, chanted without strong attention to accuracy. So we want to make sure that we're using good holding after dirgha, which is commonly missed by people, and also that we're pronouncing the mahapranas where they need to be. That's another thing that's commonly missed when people are chanting, but they haven't, had the chance to study formally. Okay, let's do the next line. Sharanye Triambake Gauri.
शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी
Narayani Namostute.
नारायणि नमोऽस्तुते नारायणि नमोऽस्तुते
शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरि नारायणि नमोऽस्तु ते
शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरि नारायणि नमोऽस्तु ते शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरि नारायणि नमोऽस्तु ते
Good. So I think we can finish this if we go just a few minutes after the hour. So if anybody really needs to leave in the next few minutes, it's no problem. You can drop off. But if possible, I think if we can just spend another, I don't know, 10 minutes or so and just finish this, I think that'll be great. So hopefully that's okay. Let's go on to the fourth shloka, another very familiar one. Sharanagata Dinartha
शरणागत दीनार्त शरणागत दीनार्त
Paritranaparayane
परित्राणपरायणे परित्राणपरायणे
Good. Just watch the lack of holding in Tranaparayane. So it just sounded a little bit like you were putting some holding there, but there isn't any there. It's just Paritranaparayane. Tranaparayane. Okay, let's do the full line. Sharanagata Dinartha Paritranaparayane.
शरणागत दीनार्त परित्राणपरायणे शरणागत दीनार्त परित्राणपरायणे
Good.
Shall I repeat?
Sarvasyarti Hare Devi.
सर्वस्यार्ति हरे देवि सर्वस्यार्ति हरे देवि
Narayani Namostute.
नारायणि नमोऽस्तु ते नारायणि नमोऽस्तु ते
Sarvasyarti Hare Devi Narayani Namostute.
सर्वस्यार्ति हरे देवि नारायणि नमोऽस्तु ते सर्वस्यार्ति हरे देवि नारायणि नमोऽस्तु ते
Good. So another thing that sometimes happens when people have not studied formally is that they'll lengthen the final I and say something like Devi or Narayani Namostute. But here in these shlokas, we're actually addressing Devi directly. Like if you say Namo Astute, so Te means to you. It's like saying namaste. I'm offering my salutations to you. So, O Devi Narayani Namostute. So, when we're addressing someone directly and we say their name, Narayani becomes Narayani. It's just the grammar for addressing someone directly. So we don't want to change that by making a hrasva into a dirgha. Okay, let's do the next one. Sarvasvarupe sarveshe.
सर्वस्वरूपे सर्वेशे सर्वस्वरूपे सर्वेशे
Sarvashakti samanvite.
सर्वशक्ति समन्विते सर्वशक्ति समन्विते
Sarvasvarupe sarveshe sarvashakti सर्वशक्तिसमन्विते
सर्वस्वरूपे सर्वेशे सर्वशक्तिसमन्विते सर्वस्वरूपे सर्वेशे सर्वशक्तिसमन्विते.
Good. भयेभ्यस्त्राहि नो देवि
भयेभ्यस्त्राहि नो देवि भयेभ्यस्त्राहि नो देवि
दुर्गे देवी नमोऽस्तु ते
दुर्गे देवी नमोऽस्तु ते दुर्गे देवी नमोऽस्तु ते
भयेभ्यस्त्राहि नो देवि दुर्गे देवी नमोऽस्तु ते
भयेभ्यस्त्राहि नो देवि दुर्गे देवी नमोऽस्तु ते भयेभ्यस्त्राहि नो देवि दुर्गे देवी नमोऽस्तु ते.
Good. Okay, let's do the next one. If you can just move it up a little bit. Okay. रोगानशेषानपहंसि तुष्टा
रोगानशेषानपहंसि तुष्टा रोगानशेषानपहंसि तुष्टा
रुष्टा तु कामान् सकलानभीष्टान्
हृष्टा तु कामान् सकलानभीष्टान् हृष्टा तु कामान् सकलानभीष्टान्.
Good. रोगानशेषानपहंसि तुष्टा रुष्टा तु कामान् सकलानभीष्टान्
रोगानशेषानपहंसि तुष्टा रुष्टा तु कामान् सकलानभीष्टान् रोगानशेषानपहंसि तुष्टा रुष्टा तु कामान् सकलानभीष्टान्.
Good. त्वामाश्रितानां न विपन्नराणाम्
त्वामाश्रितानां न विपन्नराणाम् त्वामाश्रितानां न विपन्नराणाम्
त्वामाश्रिता ह्याश्रयतां प्रयान्ति
त्वामाश्रिता ह्याश्रयतां प्रयान्ति त्वामाश्रितां ह्याश्रयतां प्रयान्ति.
Good. So there's just a little confusion in one section of that. Can you just move it up just a little bit? Thanks. Okay. So this comes from Twam Ashrita Hyashrayatam. So Ashrita Hyashrayatam. So this is super tricky because we have holding after Dirgha on Hakara. So Ahya, Ahya. That's always very difficult. So that will take some practice for everyone to get used to. And then there's, two situations of holding after Dirgha. So the whole, or at least in that 1/2 line. So the whole thing just really drags out quite a bit. So this line is definitely tricky. It's probably the only tricky or the most tricky line in the whole Sapthashloki. So I do recommend giving a little bit extra time to practice this one particular line. Okay, so just to review, Dvamashrita shrayatam prayanti. So there's actually quite a bit of holding after dirgha. Okay, so now I'm going to do the full line. Tvamashritanam navipannaraణam tvamashritahyaśrayatam prayanti.
त्वामाश्रितानां न विपन्नराणां त्वामाश्रिता ह्याश्रयतां प्रयान्ति त्वामाश्रितानां न विपन्नराणां त्वामाश्रिता ह्याश्रयतां प्रयान्ति.
Good. Okay, so let's just finish up the last shloka. Sarva badha prashamanam.
Sarva badha prashamanam. Sarva badha prashamanam.
Trailokyasyakhileshwari.
Trailokasyakhileshwari. Trailokasyakhileshwari.
Sarva badha prashamanam trailokyasyakhileshwari.
Sarva badha prashamanam trailokyasyakhileshwari. Sarva badha prashamanam trailokyasyakhileshwari.
Good. Evamevat tvaya karya.
Evamev tvaya karya. Evamev tvaya karya.
Masmadvairivinashanam.
Masmadvairivinashanam. Masmadvairivinashanam.
Good. And here, the words are supposed to be as karyam and then asmat, karyam, asmat. But I'm breaking them apart more according to the syllables and the sounds, just to make it easier to understand the half lines and the melodies. But I just wanted to point out that those words grammatically are actually different. Okay, so now I'll do the full line. Evamev tvaya karyamaस्मद्वैरिविनाशनम्.
Evamev tvaya karyamasmadvairivinashanam. Evamev tvaya karyamasmadvairivinashanam.
Good. Okay, so that's the Sapthashloki. So I'll just chant it one more time, just starting from Jnani Namapi, just to do the final review. Jnani Namapi chetamsi Devi Bhagavati hi sa Balada Krishya Mohaya Mahamaya Prayachati Durge Smruta Harasi Bhitimasesha Janto Svasthai Smruta Mati Mati Vashubham Dadasi Daritya Dukha Bhayaharini ka Twadanya Sarvopakara Karanaya Sadartra Chitta Sarvamangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Triambake Gauri Narayani Naradayani Namostute. Sharanagata Dinartha Paritrana Parayane. Sarvasyarti Hare Devi Narayani Namostute. Sarvasvarupe Sarveshe Sarvashakti Samanvite. Bhayebhyastrahino Devi Durge Devi Namostute. Roganasheshanapaham tushtarushtato kaman sakalanabhishtan Tvamashritanam navipannaraణam Tvamashritahyaśraya tam prayanti Sarvabadha prashamanam त्रैलोक्यस्याखिलेश्वरी एवमेव त्वया कार्यमस्मद् द्वैरिविनाशनम् ॐ श्रीजगदम्बार्पणमस्तु So one other small suggestion that I have is that because some of the lines have so much holding after Dirgha, it makes the lines longer, which makes it more difficult to for your breath to be maintained throughout the whole line. So one thing that's good to do when you're practicing is to practice one time focusing on taking in a deep breath at the beginning of each line. Because for chanting, a lot of this has to do with like the rules of chanting. So it's a very mental or intellectual practice, but at the same time, there's a very physical practice that comes along with it where you have to get different parts of your body to cooperate with what the brain is telling it to do. And so there's a very physical and muscular aspect to chanting as well. So one of the things you can do to improve your chanting over the long term is to focus on breathing in deeply and smoothly, and then chanting in a single stream of breath in a smooth way, and also focus on chanting with good volume and good pronunciation, even at the end of a line when you're starting to get to the end of your breath, which takes a certain amount of so lung development, but also mental control, because your tendency is to start wanting to like take in that next breath. And by controlling it, you can improve your chanting as well. So this is kind of the physical aspect where we want to make sure that we're sitting up straight, because when we're hunched over like this, it compresses the muscles in the abdomen and also the lungs to some degree, and the diaphragm, which makes it harder to breathe and chant properly. So we always want to make sure that we're sitting up straight and that we're practicing at a good, proper volume, because that's what will exercise the muscles that we're using throughout the mouth and the vocal cords and the diaphragm, and also the stomach muscles come into play quite a lot when we're pronouncing the Mahaprana sounds, which very much come from the abdominal region or the Nabhi chakra. So that's the physical aspect that we want to work on, or at least spend part of our practice time focusing on that a little bit. You know, once we've learned the chant itself and we're familiar, we know what the sounds are supposed to be, then we start refining the physical act of chanting. And we'll announce about future classes in the learning WhatsApp group. Okay. Shri Matre Namaha, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.